Okay.
Yeah, hello everyone. Our second speaker is Skylyn Irby. She is PhD student from the University of Alabama. Her talk is investigating a STEM retention program participant sense of belonging in mathematics. Please go ahead.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you again, Rui, for inviting me to speak with you all today. I've been heavily involved with my AWM chapter, so I'm super excited to talk with you all about my research for a little bit. So yeah, she already said the title, so we'll just hop right in. Okay.
Shoot, she may have gotten frozen.
Yeah, I can't.
Perfect. Sounds good. All right. All right, so today I'm going to be talking with y'all a little bit about investigating a STEM retention program participants' sense of belonging in mathematics. So a little bit of the motivation for this work is just my own experience of being an underrepresented student pursuing a degree in mathematics. So my bachelor's degree was in mathematics, and I had the opportunity to participate in all of these amazing programs. And these are just some of the people that I was afforded the opportunity to do a lot of amazing math with. And I just like to shout them out because this is really like the motivation and some of like the ways that I've reflected about doing this type of work. So I participated in an amazing REU at MSRI in Berkeley. I participated in a bridge program right before my first year of college that was geared towards helping underrepresented students persist in STEM. And so I definitely feel like without these programs, I'm not sure how far I would have gotten with my mathematics adventures. So I'm very thankful for them, and they are definitely the motivation for my work. All right, so just a quick introduction of the problem. Basically, we know that there's an issue with attrition in STEM. Less than half of our students who enroll in undergraduate programs a lot of times don't even earn the degrees. And we know that historically underrepresented students are less likely to pursue these degrees. And then more specifically, the big math part of this is that these students are leaving the STEM majors after taking mathematics courses within their first 2 years. So an idea of the framework that I'm using for this study. So I'm referring to Tinto's framework that talks about retention and how we can address dropout. And so I pretty much use the academic integration and social integration portions of this framework to motivate and inform my work. Okay, so a little bit more about academic and social integration. Research has shown that the first year of college is a very critical period for STEM. And so that is why I am choosing to research specifically bridge programs, because this is an opportunity for them to create that academic and social integration for students to be successful. So the main variables that I will be focusing on are mathematics sense of belonging, and then I will talk a little bit about math identity and math confidence somewhat, but mostly I'll be focusing on sense of belonging in mathematics, which is basically one's feelings of membership, respect, or value and acceptance in these math spaces. And so pretty much just to give you an idea of the bridge program that I'm looking into, it's approximately 4 weeks long. And then they also transition into an academic program called the LSAMP program during the academic year. And basically, we know that these programs oftentimes help with feelings of belonging and self-efficacy. And so I am trying to look into specifically a program at PWI. And my research questions that I'm looking into are, how does the mathematics sense of belonging of STEM retention program participants, how does it evolve throughout their participation in these programs? And then what components do they find valuable in their development of their math sense of belonging, and why? How do these valued aspects relate back to their sense of belonging in math? Okay, so I already kind of gave an overview of the study site, but it's basically the summer bridge program. That's a 4-week program during the summer. They are offered a mathematics course. They're giving tutoring, mentoring, and professional development opportunities. And it takes place at a large PWI in the southeastern part of the United States. So just to give you an idea of the space that these students are learning in. And so my sample consists of 2023 Summer Bridge Program participants as well as LSAMP scholars throughout the semester. And these are just some of the ways that I will be reviewing my research questions. So mathematics sense of belonging is the survey instrument that I want to talk to you all about today. It's a 30-item scale that I use to analyze these students who I was evaluating. Just to give you an idea of this scale. So when I'm in a math setting, some of the statements read, I feel that I belong to the math community, or I feel accepted, I feel at ease, I feel comfortable. So these are examples of the things that students were asked in the survey. And then for the qualitative portion of this study, I am interviewing the students and I'm coding their responses based on their reason for belonging or not to the interpersonal relationships, math identity, personal interest, or competence. And so, for example, interpersonal relationships means that they feel socially connected. Personal interest means that they are expressing personal interest in the course. Competence feels like they understand the major or the material. So the interviews pretty much are going to be asking them about their LSAMP and their bridge experiences, and then their math sense of belonging. And then I have a host of students. So it's about 12 students in this study that interviewed with me. And then who actually share about their experiences with the bridge program and the LSAMP program. So today I want to talk to you specifically about a certain case. So I'm going to be talking with you about one of my participants today. Her name is Tori. She's a Black female student, and she has a major in computer engineering and electrical engineering. She says that I view myself as an asset to the math community. I really love math. I'm really passionate about things that I learned in engineering and math. I do enjoy math, right? So she speaks very positively about her math experiences. And so I do code her as someone who feels like she belongs. And so as far as her reasoning for belonging, I have coded her as personal interest and competence. So she says, I personally like when things are foolproof, things are straight up, there's steps to get to them. And with math, it's very straightforward. And then she says, my love for that logical and straightforward process really contributed to my sense of belonging. So it's like she already has personal interest in the subject. So that is why it's coded as personal interest. And then she goes to say, making sure that I had that foundation to get the right, and it would make me feel like, wow, I can really do math, right? So that competency portion of feeling more confident because she understood the material. And so once again, these are quotes that further emphasize why Tori's reason for belonging is quoted as personal interest and competence, because she's saying that I wanted to continue in something during my undergrad that has to do with math. And then she says, people would tell me, oh, the way she talks about that and went to explain that, it sounds like you're an engineer. I'm really passionate about things that I learned in engineering. So overall, it was a combination of things that I'm passionate about and things that I enjoy, right? So that personal interest factor was very evident with Tori. And so in her interview 1, she continues to talk about competency, but she also brings in interpersonal relationships as something that she valued after participating in the bridge program and starting her semester. She says, when I first got there, Cal 3 specifically, I did not feel like I belonged, mainly because I was the only person who looked like me in this class. Felt like everybody was already ahead of the game, right? So she's comparing herself to her classmates, right? So there's that competency factor of like, do I understand the material as much as my counterparts? And then also she's talking about this idea of being the only, right? So she's lacking that interpersonal relationship feeling in her classroom space. Whereas during the bridge program, it's a closer knit summer program. So they were able to network with other underrepresented STEM majors. But once they started the semester at the PWI, obviously at the large institution, there aren't as many underrepresented students in each course. And so she also says, talks about the feeling of being alone, and then what made me feel like I belonged when I knew I wasn't alone. So pretty much she eventually started to feel like she belonged because she was no longer alone or felt like she had gained some sort of community. And further emphasizing the competency that is evident throughout. She continues to talk about her grades, and she really associates her sense of belonging with whether she understands the material. She says, I felt as though I was a little behind the curve, so still kind of comparing herself to her classmates. So as far as addressing research question 2, like what aspects do they value and why? So we're going to look at Tori's things that she values. So she really valued affirmation. So during study hall, that really contributed to her sense of belonging and her math identity. She says the professors, they're encouraging us. They say, you got this, you work out a problem, and they'll be really proud of us. So she really valued that because she would talk about that, you know, significantly throughout our conversations. So her, the affirmations definitely relates back to the competency factor because she is receiving that validation that she does understand the material well. So further signifying or enhancing her sense of belonging in mathematics. And then she also states peer tutoring. So I feel like I most belong when I'm tutoring or helping others. I love helping people, especially when it comes to increasing their ameliorating their experience with math. So she really talks about how the peer tutoring contributes to her sense of belonging because she feels like helping her peers, which is that interpersonal relationship factor that she associates with her sense of belonging. So it's not surprising that she values peer tutoring. And it also relates back to the competency, right? Because I understand the material well enough to explain it to a friend, right? And so that pretty much sums up that specific case of that student. And so some of the future directions that I'm taking this study are I'll be doing a similar analysis with the other participants because while Tori has very positive experiences with math, not every student has such positive experiences. And so I'll be doing a cross-sectional analysis among all the bridge participants and upperclassmen. I'll be doing more rounds of coding to draw conclusions about the interview data, and just drawing connections among the students and their sense of belonging in math, and also with their math identity, their personal identities, as well as their confidence. So that's just a little bit about my research and what I'm working on for my dissertation. And I really appreciate y'all for taking time to listen and learn about my research. Any questions?